what's the sound? What's the background sound? Hello,
was
hello,
me.
everyone,
Sorry.
and welcome back to another live stream. And we start just the right way. Today, as you can see, we have an amazing panel. We got with us Desi from Metamorphic Customs. If you haven't yet, check his YouTube channel. He does amazing dioramas. How's everything with you, Desi?
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the invite. Glad to be here. And as always, plenty to talk about.
And of course, just after finishing his own stream, jumping right to here, the Dante Rodriguez. How are you, my friend?
Hello, how's everyone doing? And welcome to another episode of Livestream. Big Brother, Big Bird. How you doing, man? Thank you so much for the invite. How you doing, guys? Watching. Nice to see this beautiful panel, man. We have Desi, P-Rock, Danovi, you. Of course, it's a pleasure for you to have me in your show. So,
as always, of course. And we got our own market analyst for hot toys and any other collectibles, Danovi.
Oh,
too. How are you?
Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. Hello, folks. Hope everybody's having a good Tuesday, right?
Yeah,
talking about Batman and all that good fun stuff. So let's have some fun tonight.
And of course, PROCKZILLA. How are you, my friend, today? How are you? You cut your hair, right? You look fresh.
Actually, yeah, last weekend I cut it. Just shaved, nice shave, trimmed up a little bit. That's about it. But I'm doing good. Thanks for having me again. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be fun for sure. Let me just address here the chat. We got the Collector one. We got Bob Dylan, Basic Bitch, Hector V, Braden, single songwriter as always. We got Joe P, Carlos. Are you Papi Chulo tonight? Maybe. Who knows? We never know. We got Hector V, already said. We got Erwin Torres. Always. Who is? Do anyone know this one? Basic Bitch. I've seen him in some streams,
Basic
but I don't know.
I love the name.
Bagman is the channel where that Russian guy who lives in China talks about toys. Exactly. This is the right channel. You come to the right place.
The Russian guy.
I really cannot read this comment from Netify007. Can you read it? I cannot read it. Louis Lubitz, what's up, crew? We got a lot to talk about today. Of course, we will talk about Batman, but before I want to bring here some stuff. Anthony comes with a super chat. How are you, my friend? What's up, peeps? I'm just bringing you here some announcements. This is something that maybe all of you are not very excited for, but I know that people like to know. This is a James Bond set from Daft Toys. It's not a complete figure, so we cannot call this like it's third party, it's not licensed, but it is only a set that you can use then with your own 007 head sculpt. It's just this is from the last movie. It's just a set. I saw it's already up on 1.6 kit. You can check it there. And I think this one, I will review it because I think if you have a nice head sculpt like the one that 11 is doing, you can use this set that looks quite okay. Also some news. Toys Era is doing the Baron Zemo. This is from the Winter Soldier, right? Because I didn't watch the TV show. Toys Era is doing this guy.
Civil War and the TV show Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Right.
Would you guys want this in your collection?
If Toys R Us does it, why not? But I will have to see it first, right?
Yeah, it's not priority.
I happen to want this guy because it's just nostalgic for me. One of the toys I played with a lot as a kid was a Baron Zemo figure from the old, back in the 80s or late 80s. So, but only for that reason, right? Otherwise, I probably wouldn't get him.
Braden is saying Danobi already pre-ordered 3 of that Toys Era figure. sure he did.
Just in the waters. No, there's two things wrong here. A, it's Toys Era, and then B, I never watched the show. I watched the pilot, and then I ran away. I did not like anything with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. That first episode, I'm like, oh no, they just decided to take it in a different direction, and I checked out. I checked out quick out of that show.
Wow. With a super sticker. Thank you so much. And about your question, if it comes with a head sculpt, I don't know. I just heard from them they are going to do this, but there's no any announcement until now. And Carlos with other super chat. Thank you, my friend. The Luke Skywalker Bespin just moved to the first spot on Sideshow's What's New page. Thank you, Riley. That's a good point. Wow, incredible. Just to finish up here these third-party things, if you bought the head sculpt from By Art, you remember that you reviewed their Black Superman that
Yes.
you liked a lot.
Yeah,
Can
that one's actually pretty good.
You can see the prototype photos and the final stuff that the people are getting. It's a bit terrifying to say the least. Look at this.
Wow.
Normally by Art, that Black Superman was okay, right? I think you gave it a good opinion. You had a good opinion on it, right, Dante?
The figure, or
yes, the figure, the Black Superman.
Yes,
did the
I
whole figure.
liked it. I was very impressed. I mean, I don't collect a lot of third parties, so I'm very like selective here and there. But that one, it looked pretty good. I like the head sculpts. The body was a bit heavy, so I like that. The diorama was fantastic. I really liked it. It's a bit taller compared to the other Justice League figures, just a bit taller, but it will blend perfectly, right? Obviously, looking forward for the Hot Toys one. But I think they did a good job.
Yeah, but these head sculpts, they look.
Yeah, this looks horrible.
I don't know. They look horrible.
Has anybody ever bought from AliExpress? I always see it, but I always hear it's kind of shady.
I have.
I never
It's like
bought
eBay.
anything from there.
Who has?
I have.
It's like what? It's like
It's
eBay.
like eBay.
Okay.
You have to look at their score profile,
Alright.
and yeah, so it is. Yeah, it's just like eBay. I've used AliExpress a lot. You can get a lot of good deals as long as the seller has a high score. It's a win.
I see some good deals, but I was always nervous. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, like I said, if you ever shop from eBay, it's the same thing. Just look at that score.
And yes,
look at their feedback, and that's it.
I mean, check the rating of the store, right? Each store has their own rating. Okay, nice. I never bought from there because actually AliExpress, they don't ship to China. They are in China, but they don't ship. You cannot buy there, and
Really?
the things ship. Yeah, they don't ship to here, only for
crazy,
overseas.
But AliExpress can ship to anywhere in the world except China. That's bonkers there.
There's no shipping available to China. Yeah. Passing now to the Batman. This was a release that was like unexpected because they had this for July, I think, right? And I think this was a July-September release. And out of nowhere, Hot Toys yesterday released this Batman. Besides the excitement for having a new Batman, do you guys think this was a smart move from Hot Toys to release this Batman earlier, so to avoid maybe the excitement with a new movie and maybe some people would cancel their POs thinking, I don't want more The Dark Knight, I want a new one instead, and they just released this one first? What do you think, Desi?
I think it's always a smart move to release a Batman, even though has nothing to do with the movie that's out now. The point is you can't get the Hot Toys or even a third party of the Batman that's out now, so you're just excited about Batman, so you get this. Yeah, it makes sense to release it. It's sad for me. It's sad to see this being released instead of something they haven't released before, but I get it, right?
Exactly.
It's not about old time collectors. It's about the new market, and it makes, from a marketing standpoint, it makes sense. It would have been even smarter if they released it a little earlier, but hey, it is what it is. So
that's a good point, but because you have so many figures that's still on Sideshow that would ship in March, and they still up there March, they never changed the date, and this one was July-September, and they moved it to an earlier date, and was a quite surprise for me, to be honest. What do you think, then? You just talked 2 hours about this, but you can summarize your opinion here.
I like it.
I didn't ask if you like it. I'm asking if you.
I mean, I think everything is done for a reason, right? So obviously, I wasn't expecting this to be sooner, to be honest with you, but it makes sense that they want to get rid of this older quote unquote figures just so they can have room for the new one. Batman, the new Batman, right now is hot. It's a good movie, in my opinion. So they decided to push this. I think it was well received based on the comments that I saw this morning and the conversation we got previously before joining your show, Joao. It seems to be very positive, right? Now, the fact Fabio mentioned is that the cover has the trilogy in the front, so that means that they're doing a trilogy, right? They're doing different characters. We got Catwoman, we got already the 2.0 of Two-Face. Eventually, we're gonna get Bane. Joker was Queen Studio did and Inar did the Joker. Perhaps Hot Toys will announce the 3.0 at one point. I think it makes sense to start doing these figures. Don't be surprised if Catwoman comes sooner too. That maybe they want to just get rid of those faster. I mean, when I get the figure, I'll do the review and I will show you my personal opinion and what I think about the figure. But so far, based on the final product pictures, it looks very nice. I think the head-sculpt is an improvement. The body is an improvement. It's a bit taller compared to the DX12. Very tiny though, very very tiny. I mean, you can see the head-sculpt's looking. The new one to me looks much better. Again, it's an improvement wherever you see it, right? Very happy with this. So hopefully we'll see more of this, Dark Knight figures coming soon.
Yeah, it's a good point. And actually, yesterday I was checking on Facebook, and Jesse Lowe is a collector, a friend from Hong Kong. He posted some photos of this Batman, and he was saying that it's a huge improvement compared to the DX12, but it's subtle. The body is much more rigid, bigger chest, and nicer overall look. The bat head is bigger and they have longer horns. The chest plate looks more like a transparent carbon fiber than some cheap plastic. The cape is much better, almost like the custom ones. The head sculpt improved. Opinions may vary, as the new sculpt is more like the Batman Begins, the younger version of Bale. And he said the only downside is the bat diaper is a little too big, but overall it's much more screen accurate than the DX12. Is that crotch is a bit more pronounced than the original DX12, but overall it seems is an improvement from the DX12. P-Rock, are you getting this Batman? I don't know if you collect the Dark Knight. Yes?
Yeah, I'm getting it. It's going to be my first DC Hot Toys, so definitely. I missed
really?
on the first one, so I'm going to pick up this one because I need something to go with my Batpod. So finally, I'm happy they're going to release this, and I can have it displayed with the Batpod.
Oh, you are getting the Batpod, right? Last time we were talking about this.
Yeah, I already have
because
that.
I think you were considering the Batwoman, the Catwoman with the Batpod from Queen Studios, right?
Yep.
That's the way I went, and I think that's why I will not get the Batpod from Hot Toys. Batpods it's too much.
Unfortunately, I bought it already, so I can't really return it. So, I mean, maybe I'll sell it if I get my hands on that Queen Studio Catwoman with the Batpod. Because if I can do that, I'm not even going to buy the Catwoman either. Because that's the perfect pose for me. But anyways, this I'm happy they're releasing this. I missed on the first one. It does look like an improvement. So I'm happy I waited that long, or I missed out the first time. So I guess there's a reason that I missed out. I'm happy for it. So I can't wait for it. I'm excited. Finally have something to go with my Batpod.
That's right. And there is some photo with him in the Batpod that is right here. This looks amazing. This looks quite nice. And some people are saying maybe it's the reason they did the height. The Batman height is a bit taller. Maybe it's to fit better on the Batpod. I'm not sure if the DX12 had this problem. I didn't own the Batpod back in the day. But the Nobi, going with you, are you with the DX12 in N?
Yeah, this is the one that's being replaced, right? This one here? Is it this one?
Let me put on solo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it's this one.
So the improvements are the bigger chest. Is the cape wired in the new one?
No, not wired.
Okay,
it's not wired.
It's not wired. Okay. Well, that's good then. But it's bigger though, with a bigger chest, and it's a lot taller.
A bit taller. Yes, it's a bit taller.
So if anybody has ever owned the Tumbler, this thing was already a nightmare to fit in there. It barely could fit inside the Tumbler. So you're telling me it has a bigger chest and it's taller. This thing has this figure it was always a nightmare. And then I remember in the Facebook groups, this would always get broken off when you would try to fit it into the tumbler. This right here. I remember this. So this, yeah, that would always get broken when you try to put it inside the tumbler. This body, this had trouble. This is a smaller version. So you're telling me that the bigger, it's the new one, it's taller, bigger chest, more rigid. So there's going to be some bitching going on in the communities when I'm gonna,
but they reissuing the tumbler, so maybe they're gonna do it to fit the new figure, right?
They're reissuing the tumbler, the same old mold that had problems in 2010, 2011. I owned it. It was not a very pleasant vehicle. I had it. I sold it after a few years. I usually keep majority of my Hot Toys, but that tumbler was not very pretty inside. It was very dark. It did not illuminate inside. And because it was so dark, it was painted jet black inside. You always had trouble fitting this thing inside of it. And this would always break off, the little hook mandible, whatever that you would call that.
Right.
And also the canopy would also get stuck as well too. And sometimes it would clip this, the little pointy ears. I'm telling you, the tumbler was not a good vehicle. I owned it. I was there. I lived it.
Oh, don't worry.
I lived it.
The new one won't have a floor, so you'll be able to just fit his feet through.
Yeah. Does anybody here in the community? I can't be the only old fart that actually owned a tumbler, right?
No, I never owned it.
No,
because it's exact same. All they're doing is taking the old steel plated molds and just recasting. Now I like that they improved the this one here. I think it's cool, but this always it had trouble fitting. I mean, like I said, maybe you may not. Well, Denobi, I don't want to fit it inside. Really, you're going to spend $700, $800, whatever, $900 for a tumbler, and you're not going to try to fit your Batman action figure inside the tumbler? This was already a pain in the butt to fit in there, and it would always get damaged. So
you got yours, yeah. You have rubber suit under the armor. I don't have mine in ends. You have yours in ends, but I don't think it's a rubber suit under the
rubber
armor.
Suit under the armor. Yeah, it's a rubber.
Is it?
Well,
it's rubber on fabric, right? Like it has
it's rubber on fabric. Yeah.
Okay.
And,
exactly.
Yeah. So it's rubber. It's rubber on fabric, and I got to tell you, being in the desert, these little these, I'm going to call them scales, have never peeled off. But within time, depending on the climate, humidity, wherever you're living, these would eventually peel off. So it looks like they're using the exact same technology on the new figure. So, but mines are fine. This is an original 2013. I think this one came out. This is
I
like
think so.
The year I started collecting Hot Toys. All of the I'm going to call them fish scales. They are all in great condition in this figure. Everything. And I've even done a couple skits with this where I've done some dynamic poses, and this thing is still holding up pretty well. You guys know about the little magnetic head and the little mouth thing.
Oh, Denobi, let me ask you this question. So you have the feel on your hand. Is the suit inside? Is that fabric or pleather?
It is fabric with plastic moldings stuck on.
Plastic moldings.
Yeah.
Because the other one looks that is some type of fabric inside.
Yeah.
So I was going to ask, did they improve the articulation on the other one?
I mean, again, I will not know until I get the new one, but seems to be in the pictures that is more like a fabric type of material. And again, I can be wrong. I don't have it in hands.
This you understand that you can't put this in a dynamic pose because yes, it's fabric underneath, but you would also risk having these things peel off. These fish scales, I'm calling them. So
does your Batman fly?
No. It does not. And I'm going to tell you something too. Another thing is that the cape was a pain in the butt.
That's what I've heard.
The tumbler. So you would have to remove the clips to put it inside the tumbler. And the problem with removing this cape and putting it back is that it was little flimsy plastic clips that would wear out over time. So I did a couple photos. I put it inside the tumbler maybe twice, and I gave up on it. Also, because of the rigid legs and the joints, it never properly sat on the Batpod. It never really. It's not something that you would want to put permanent on the Batpod. I never had the Batpod, but I remember the photos on Facebook. I never, I'm like, I'm not doing the Batpod. I was already annoyed with the Tumbler and its issues. The whole thing with the Tumbler is that it's for looking, it's not for cooking. And what that means is that you would have it in the background displayed and it would look beautiful and so forth. But if you ever decided to roll it, first of all, it couldn't roll on the floor properly. And then second, you couldn't fit the Batman figure inside to save your life without breaking something on this thing. So
is that one staying straight or you got a knee bent there? That Batman.
This right here?
No, the pose right there. Does he have his knee bent? Or
no, I keep him in a museum pose because I know of the history with this guy that if you ever put this in a dynamic pose, you will end up breaking him. And it looks like they're using the exact same molding on the new one. So
the original,
just beware.
The DX02 was a full rubber suit. It didn't look as accurate, but I have them both, and yeah, I have them both in a museum pose for that
museum
reason.
Pose. That's all you're going to get out of them. That's it.
Because David was asking if the DX02 would fit in the Tumbler. I think that one would be even more difficult.
Oh my God! If it's like a whole rubber suit, hell no.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, the Tumbler is for cooking, it's for looking, not for cooking. You can't, and it looked horrible inside too. Like I couldn't understand. They didn't add any illumination inside the cockpit. It was like complete dark, and you open it up, it was dark. You have a black dark figure, so you needed flat. It was just it was not very pleasant. I remember that was my experience. It was not very pleasant, and I was very fortunate that my hooks never broke off when I would try to fit them inside the cockpit. So I've said it.
But do you think? But again, since this is going to be reissued, do you think they're going to fix that problem?
Well, the Tumbler looks like it's a complete reissue from the exact same Tumbler that came out went into pre-order in 2011, and then it was released in 2013. It was almost 2 years, like a year and a half for that release. So, but the Batman, from what I can tell, it looks like it's been improved. It looks like what the comments have said, and I've seen the photos on Reddit. It looks like a bigger figure. So it's as a collector, wow, a beefy, good-looking, action figure. That's awesome. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. It looks stellar. But if you plan on putting that figure inside the Tumbler, no.
Can I also, because I'm looking at the pictures right now, this is from Batman, this is from Batman Begins, right? So do you think the Tumbler was designed to fit the Batman Begins figure only? I mean, do you have the Batman Begins figure?
No, I only have this one right here.
Could that be? I mean, again, it might be a stupid question, but could that be why? Because remember, sometimes they do it so that you can actually fit the specific figure, right? So could that be the case? Maybe
it could be, but that's not the figure that's being re-released, is it? It's this one here, emulated.
Because they remember that they already did the camo Tumbler, the camo one, a camo color one, and that one is from The Dark Knight Rises.
It would be weird.
Doc, I'm not trying to ruin the Tumbler experience. I'm just telling you, I'm speaking from experience. I was there, Gandalf. I lived it through it all.
If you leave it there and you don't touch it, it's fine.
You treat it like a statue.
You can pose. Yeah, there you go. Pose. I don't know.
Everyone canceling orders.
Look, it's a great.
Sideshow just called me. They got 10 cancellations so far.
Yeah. Well, if you want a museum pose, it's going to be it looks like it's going to be a beautiful figure, but you're not going to get dynamic posing without jeopardizing or risking damage down the road. It is a fabric. It looks like it's the exact same fabric material with the little plastic fish scales welded on there. And within time, they do peel off. Okay. I've been lucky. I've been very fortunate out here in the desert. My pleather and the figures, perfect out here, no issues.
So I'm looking at so they reissue the Batman Begins figure. So I have a feeling that's the reason why. Maybe that's because that's maybe the only figure is gonna fit.
How much is this one? Did we talk about price? What are we asking about here? What is
that one? Is $285, I believe.
285. 285. No, 290. Right. I think.
Is it? What is it? 280 or is it 290? So what is the true W2 price with some shipping and some tax? So we're looking at what, 350 here, 340.
we're looking about. Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
Here, yeah, I'm just curious. It's a competitive market right now. I know, Doc. I'm giving you crap, Doc. He said, I'm picking on you because I heard Doc earlier on Geeking Out jam into Batman. Look, it's a beautiful figure. There's no problems with the figures that I can tell. It's taller. It looks like it's more masculine, more beefier. But if you think you're going to sit on the floor and be a kid and play with it as a Hot Wheel, you got another thing coming to you.
Look, it sits.
I mean, does it even
fine,
fit halfway? Like, can he stand in there?
It's this. Like, just based on experience, you can fit this inside the tumbler, but it was very tight, and because it was very rigid. Look, I mean, look at this. Look, I'll try to pose this for you. He has to sit down. Look at this. Look at this. Look how much pressure. Look at this. I'm not making this shit up. That's hard. So this already had problems. Was it 90 degrees or look at that? I can't bend the fucker. Just I don't want to cuss in here, but look at that. That's it. So he would sit in the tumbler like this.
Can't fart
like that. This is how he would sit, and it would look silly.
Okay,
and you're so when as a grown adult, when no one's looking, you want to sit on the floor, you want to play with your toys. And you can't fit the stupid thing inside the tumbler. Well, you can, but he doesn't look comfortable. So
okay, so the Novi price is $290. Sideshow, according to Sideshow again, $290, $290. Taxes in New Jersey is $20.44, and shipping is $18, right? So $328.96 all in. So probably taxes you may add more or less, but shipping is $18. I'm in the East Coast, so $18.
So it's not competitive. It's the current fair pricing for what Hot Toy figures are going for right now. Because an average Hot Toys figures right now is $300. That's the new price point. That's with shipping and some tax. $260, $270, add some shipping and tax. So, but if you want the Dark Knight, I would recommend it. It's if you never had the opportunity to own a Christopher Nolan Batman, this is going to be your best bet. And it makes sense. It's been 10 years. It was a different time back then, we had a different president, the dollar was a little bit stronger. It's different back then. But if you want a Dark Knight, great. I say grab it. But we're in the middle of like 1/6 scale wars right now with multiple companies all flexing. So choices are going to have to be made. Tough choices are going to have to be made.
Mm-hmm.
And before I ask you one question, just to Mario, how are you, my friend? Bob Dylan already said that you cannot fit a tumbler in a 6 series module case. It will not fit inside. No. You will not fit it.
What about 110?
But then 110, I also think you cannot.
No, 110 6 series. You won't be able to.
Yeah.
It's not wide enough.
Oh, really? Oh, shit.
Yes, that's not wide enough.
Rita, I want to share something with you. The Tumbler was one of the, when I owned the vehicle, it was one of the reasons I started looking outside of owning it, because I had my whole back wall was all DTOFs, and the Tumbler was a nuisance in how to display, because you couldn't put it on top of a DTOF. You couldn't fit it inside of a DTOF. So you needed a dedicated table. I had a poker table that I bought off of Costco, so that I can display the thing. And then the poker table took up a lot of space. It wasn't very, very well to space manage in the room, in this room right here before the modules cases came in. And so it was easy for the DeLorean, because I had the DeLorean and the Tumbler at the time. So it was easy to work the DeLorean. When I got my DeLorean, I quickly hover converted it. I didn't waste any time. So I was very clever on how to display, but the Tumbler was always a pain in the butt to display. If you do, I mean, now in a module case, I would imagine, but you're telling me it doesn't even fit in a DF120. So is that right? Is that, did I read that it can't fit in a DF120?
I don't think so. I think it was the 6 scale 110.
The 6 scale 110. Bob Dylan said he cannot fit.
That because it's so freaking wide. It takes up so much surface volume. It's just I'm not trying to be a negative Nelly here. It is a beautiful look. It is a beautiful showpiece to have in the background, but you're not allowed to touch it or do anything with it because the minute you do, it's going to piss you off. So it's great in the background with your figures.
You mean the Tumbler? No, but I will definitely give the benefit of the doubt because if they're reissuing this, there's gonna be some certain improvements over there. I mean, I think
I'm getting
by the time it's released,
yeah,
you're gonna be able to fit your Batman because again, it was probably designed just to fit the Batman Begins only, and that's a possibility as well, right? Because they're releasing. I mean, what a coincidence, right? They're releasing the figure from Batman Begins. They're releasing the Tumbler from Batman Begins. They're releasing the Dark Knight for the Dark Knight, and they're releasing the Batpod for the Dark Knight. So same with Catwoman. So they they're smart how they do their things. Maybe the Batman Begins is same height as this one, and maybe you can fit this one as well. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a good point. And here, but about price, Bob Dylan is saying that maybe it's the last DX figure you will see at this price range, and most probably it's true, because a DX figure at $285, it's quite. Normally we are seeing now the DX figures, the later ones are out $320, right? $315, $320. How much was that? The Ahsoka. The Ahsoka was $285. Was more than $300. $285 also.
Yeah,
potentially $285.
Yeah, because I'm thinking the Rosario Dawson that's also DX too, but that's like what, $360 or something?
No, $315.
Yeah,
$315, so it's already breaking $3. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm just taking here a photo to share with you because Bob Dylan sent me a photo. He has his Tumbler in a model case, and I want to share it here. Bob Dylan, which model cases you have?
I think he has the 120.
Who are you? Oh, there. Which one is? Oh, that's a nice setup. Whose photo is this?
Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan.
Okay. Is this the Max 40 or the DF120?
I think it's DF120. DF120 says.
DF120, yeah. DF120.
There you go.
You can fit it in a DF120.
And he has the armory and then the. Okay.
You got the Batpod over there. The Batpod is in a vertical position.
It's right on the wall. It's right on the wall.
And the armory there looks quite cool. And you got Gordon. Gordon is sleeping there.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Yeah, it's Gordon. Gordon fell down. You got a nice setup, Bob Dylan. Wow.
Yeah.
Bob Dylan flexing.
This Two-Face, I think, is the first version, right? Because the 2.0 looks really good.
It looks like it.
Right? The 2.0, when I got the 2.0, I mean, I never owned the first one. I was very impressed by it. Very, very impressed.
Yeah, it looks like the first one.
It's interesting because Blackbird Tech, how are you, my friend? He's saying here that the Two-Face showed up briefly to the on-site show, then sold out again. The Two-Face was Toy Fair exclusive, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was a Toy Fair.
The 2.0 was a Toy Fair exclusive.
I was able to grab one before it was sold out, so I was lucky. I was on the fence until the very last moment, but then when I saw the Batman, being reissued with all those other figures, I'm like, you know what? I have to rebuild my Nolan trilogy figures. So I start getting, little by little, getting one in here. So, that was a good grab. And let me tell you, it's well worth the money. Very nice figure. You can tell the improvement.
It is a nice figure.
Every figure that is being re-released now, a 2.0, if you will, there's an improvement in it. Is the paint application is much better. The sculpting is much better. Something, maybe accessories, something like that. Something is improved for sure. You can see the DX19. I mean, just by looking at it.
And Fat Batman Collecting Nightmare. He was lucky. He grabbed the 2.0 this morning at 4:30 a.m. And Bob Dylan is saying here about the Two-Face that is no comparison, but the 1.0 comes with the Harvey sculpt and the clean coat, while the 2.0 can only be displayed as Two-Face. You cannot display it as Harvey tint.
Yeah, there's always, you see, and that's the beauty of the 2.0, right? That when they re-release something, they necessarily need to pretty much copy and paste exactly the first one. They can add something new, an accessory, a head sculpt, something that the other version doesn't have. Look at what happened with Marty, for example, right? The new one doesn't come with a guitar, right? But comes with the Einstein. So
We
That's
still
a
have
good
that
variant.
So you're probably right, Dante, because I'm looking at the links you sent. So it probably really is meant to be for the Batman Begins in that rubber suit version there too. So I guess it's probably the best tip to share to the community. Don't try to cram this DX into the Tumbler or else suffer the consequences.
right.
Because the Batman Begins figure it looks like it's a lot shorter, and with the rubber joints or with the suit, it'll
much easier
probably
to
fit a
fit.
little bit better
Right,
with
right.
the inside.
Right. It looks like it was meant for a specific accessory, right? That one for the Tumbler, the
Yeah.
Dark Knight with the Batpod, things like that.
Yeah.
But again, you need to wait until you see it, right? Until you have it in hand, then you'll see it like you did with your Tumbler, right?
Yeah.
So
He does look
Yeah.
shorter. So the Batman Begins, but
I don't have that one. I have the Demon Batman, which is basically the same thing with a different face sculpt. But I could
The
compare
Demon
sizes.
Batman came in a 2-pack with a Scarecrow, right? That
Yeah.
was also exclusive, a Toy
Yeah.
Fair exclusive or something. A
I
10-year
don't-
celebration exclusive. It
Something
was
like
10
that.
years.
I think it was a
Yeah.
Japan exclusive. I don't remember, but yeah, it was a 2-pack with Scarecrow.
Yeah, I remember that. Dan Young here saying the Tumbler is massive. When I designed a large custom display cabinet recently, I referenced its measurement so I'd have space to display it. Yeah. It's seems a pain in the ass to display that Tumbler. We are moving out now from Batman, and we are going to a next topic that it's the topic I wanted most to hear our opinions, is the market situation from Hot Toys now. I can only speak from what's happening in China at this moment, and I'm giving you here I will give you here some examples about the devaluation of the Hot Toys at this moment. And we start small with this short trooper. At Sideshow, the original price is $230, and in Hot Toys, if you buy in China from Hot Toys directly, the price is $225. Normally, the Hot Toys price in China, if you buy directly from Hot Toys because of taxes and everything, you will pay almost the same price. But at this moment, in the second market, not second market, is retailers and smaller stores here in China are selling it at $164, which means it's 27% cheaper than the original price. And what is creating is that people are not going into Hot Toys directly here. That's what Hot Toys wanted. You buy from them directly, pre-order from them. Everyone here is waiting, and once the figure releases, they know they can get it cheaper. And in some way, this is devaluing the product. And in China, because I know a lot of collectors here that stop collecting Hot Toys, because in China, the collector mindset is that they collect something because it also holds the value. They do this with tea, they do this with rice wine, they do this with art. And Hot Toys, the collectors also think the same way. I'm collecting Hot Toys because at least holds this value, or sometimes the value even go up. But at this moment, the Hot Toys value is depreciating a lot. For any figure, from Short Troopers to Iron Man, that was the biggest selling point of Hot Toys in China, it's a reality right now. And what you guys think about this, and what Hot Toys could do about this? And I start with you, Desi. What do you think about this?
And at this point, with the ratio of figures they've announced, it started pretty bad last year, but there was still signs that they could maybe pull it off if they started onboarding a lot of new factories. But at this point, why were they? Nobody wants to leave money on the table, right? The reason I think they overproduce is because they got the orders for it. That being said, if you were already having issues with your production schedule because you didn't have capacity, maybe it's either time to start limiting orders or not announce as much, or something. And it just it's not working out. So how do they get out of that hole? At this point, I have no idea. I don't know. They would have to onboard a lot of new factories, and I don't know if they have the cash flow to do that. That's not for me to say. So other than just onboarding new factories, but again, cash flow. So
that's a good point, but it's also a fact that some resellers in Hong Kong and some resellers in China, some retailers, they did pre-order a big amount of figures in the end game time because they were thinking that they could sell it at a higher price, flip it, and win profit on that. And that backfired to them because no one at that time wanted those figures, and they had to sell it at a cost price. And here brings other problem, is that when you buy a first batch from Hong Kong, the profit that you are giving to these stores is insane. They get so much profit that then they can sell it after for a lower cost, because even if they lose something, they still win because they sold you a first batch at an insane price. It's insane the profit they had on these first batches. But it's quite interesting, and it's, as a company, Hot Toys should be worried about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think they should take action. P-Rock, can you give me your opinion about this?
I agree with Desi, man. I'm not sure what else they can. I mean, one thing would probably help them out would be maybe like open a factory here in the United States. I mean, I know they have a contract with Sideshow. I'm not sure how long that contract is up for, when that would expire, but that would help them sell. Because most of that, I know that a lot of the market, like you said, some of the figures they show there are not selling over there, but they're selling over here. So I know a lot more people, they would get more sales if they just sold directly here in the States.
That would help with shipping, but the price of the toy would go up substantially, even with all the shipping.
Yeah.
You think it'll be more than what Sideshow charges, like the additional Sideshow, if they, or?
Oh yeah.
All right, so that defeats the idea. So
so
I really don't know. And that's, like I said, that's one thing I said before in the other stream before. Just the fact that they're putting out so many damn pre-orders before they're actually putting out figures is just, the amount of pre-orders they have compared to the figures that are coming out or even out now is just crazy. I've never.
Yes, but that's other problem, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe they are holding releases because they know if they release everything now, they will lose more. Maybe they are holding. Maybe it's not a factor of only they cannot. Maybe they are thinking, why should I release everything now if I know this will go to the bargain bin after some months?
Yeah, I guess this is the worst. What they're doing now is like the worst of both of two evils. I guess this whatever is. I don't know.
Before going less. Let me hear the Nobby point on this. What's your point on this?
So to bounce off of something that was with pre-orders, and it, you know, because it seems like collectors aren't pre-ordering anymore, or at least are cautious, very, very, very cautious. And so the question that was brought up by I want to say it was Mario from El Professor World, where it's gonna backfire. And I'm to the point that I would want these figures to go back to being somewhat of a chase figure than to be dead stock and be undervalued, because it's a lot easier to navigate from a smaller batch, like a smaller run of figures, than it is navigating 30,000 plus figures that are not going to sell out for several years, and then collectors who decided to buy it, and then buyer's remorse are on Facebook groups, unloaded them at cost or even below retail. It's all symbiotic. It's all interconnected. So if currently right now, if collectors are not pre-ordering and they're still making announcements on these new and upcoming figures, then most likely it's going to be a smaller batch. And that's how you're going to have to get the market to restabilize, because it's flooded, it's oversaturated. So we have to get the demand up. And how do you get the demand up on a specific figure? Well, you got to go back to a small batch. Unfortunately, nobody wants to hear that. But that's why silly figures like Hela from Thor Ragnarok is worth so much, because nobody pre-ordered her, and she went from a chase into a grail, and she's worth a fortune, to the point that the third-party companies ended up cloning her and just making copies. So from what I've gathered, a lot of the saturated figures that were announced in the last half of 2020 are the ones that are gonna be plagued with 20, 30,000 units. And unfortunately, if you look at the pre-release schedule of 2020 for Hot Toys, it is a lot of the Clone Wars tchotchke characters. They're gonna sit. So, I mean, that's the time where everybody was just pre-ordering it. Unfortunately, Ahsoka is going to be one of those casualties. That Darth Maul, that Toontown Darth Maul is going to be one of the casualties. So if you look at this, if you look at the history and you look at what was trending at that point in time, you can at least be able to navigate. Now, these new releases that we're getting though, like Variant Loki, just keep an eye on those. Those are probably going to be small batches. You don't have to pre-order it now. You don't have to have your money sit in someone's account for 2 years, but just keep an eye on it. And you're going to have to use a chart. Unfortunately, you're going to have to. I've been using charts since 2019, and you tend to see things in numbers when you make that. It's yes, it's work, but you have to. You unfortunately, you're going to have to. But but that being said, though, Bretta, I don't trust any of the 1/6 scale companies right now, like any of them. I don't trust Hot Toys right now. I don't trust Queen's Studios. I'm also even skeptical about X06 right now. And I love Star Trek, but I don't even trust them right now. So I just, there's a lot of what's the word? You're not getting the full picture right now because of the current state of the world right now. They're not all, and it's to their benefit, right? They need to stay alive. It's capitalistic. They're not going to tell you that the books aren't balanced. That no company's going to want to share that information with you, right? So it's up to the consumer just to be a little bit careful.
Yeah, and this comment from Fat Ben Collecting's Matt is saying, I'm worried that in the future things will sell out fast because they are going to have to slow down because they are eating so many figures. Probably we'll see low production releases from now on, and to trying to stabilize the market. Maybe that's the way they are going to do it. It's quite interesting. But for example, you see figures like Mark 85 Battle Damage that everyone and their mother wanted this figure because they were saying the Mark 85 will sit, no one wanted, everyone will get the Battle Damage, and it's already down 30%.
Yeah,
from the original price, and it will keep going down. Believe me. I'm talking only in the China market. I'm not talking about buying from Hong Kong. If you are in the States, this is in the local market. What's happening here at this moment? Because everyone is thinking, why I'm going to buy directly on Hot Toys if I can just buy from a local store and buy it 30% cheaper. And that's what in some ways is ruining the market here. Not only the Mark 85, Rescue is half price, less than half price at this moment, is at 180, and the official price was 405.
God, that's insane. But we've seen that through Hong Kong resellers that this is the one of the ones that have taken such a big hit. So
imagine that before, if you wanted, for example, the Mark 85 Battle Damage and Rescue together, you would pay $850. Now for $490 you can get both of them, and you save almost $400 that you can use for your car repair if you need.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Dante. What's your point about on this? What do you think about this? Do you think the Hong Kong resellers play a part on this?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it is all about making money, right? And when they make the money that they want to get, right, the overstock, they're just gonna pretty much sell it as cheap as possible, right? And that's where we get the cheaper figures. But to the original point, I think the way things are gonna happen is that, it seems to be that pre-orders are not a good indication of how many figures to produce, right? The reason being is because until Sideshow improves their shipping speed, we're gonna have this issue here. And I mentioned Sideshow because they are the official Hot Toys sellers, right? Distributors. So that's why I mentioned them. It's gonna be a point that maybe quantity is gonna be low because many people don't pre-order anymore. Many people wait until the figure is released. Many people buy overseas. So it is really not a good indication whether the figure is hot or not, right? Look at what happened with the Short Trooper, for example, right? A few months ago, it was 200 and something. Now it's like 150, 160. It's cheap. It's good for us because you buy cheap, figures, right? But at the same time, if at one point, and I mentioned this before, at one point you want to sell something because you need money for XYZ, or you decided to just not collect anymore, or any reason you need money for something, right? You're gonna end up losing money as well. Because if you buy something at retail and let's say that figure is sold out and they still have the figure for like below retail, you're pretty much losing money as well. So that's, I think a lot of things are going to change in the future, right? Now, other companies coming into 1.6 with different figures, different options that also gonna that all is gonna play into everything is gonna happen. Uh, uh, um, that you're gonna be having so many options, and maybe some sellers would not be able to sell everything because you have so many options. But again, I think things are gonna change. I'm not surprised about this. I agree. I think this is gonna go lower and lower at one point, but at this point, I think it's gonna benefit the consumer because if you can get it cheaper, why not, right?
I mean, that's a good point. If you can get cheaper, you will not think twice. But if getting cheaper means you are not contributing to the future of the company, it's quite difficult decision to make. But if you have a rescue for 180 overseas and you will pay for it in Sideshow, of course no.
Well, this is the thing,
Because
right?
it's a big difference.
This is a perfect example. If Sideshow has this figure for 407 and you can buy it for 180, right? I mean,
it's not 407 because they have 10% discount free US. The 10% discount is a bit lower than that. But anyway, it will be always half price.
Right. So, still is way cheaper, right? So that's the thing that they need to improve. They need to improve the shipping speed. If let's say, just imagine if Hot Toys released something today and then within the same week you start getting your figures from Sideshow. Do you think people are going to buy overseas?
No, but the people that buy overseas to get before Sideshow, they are paying first batch prices, and that price is much higher than this.
No, you're right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, do you think the people are going to buy overseas? Of course not, because you're going to pay retail. So why buying overseas if Sideshow is going to pretty much start shipping within the same week? So within the same week you get your figure, you're going to pay pretty much retail. You're not going to pay the extra markup they put for first batch. So all comes to the speed of shipping, how they, if whether they're going to wait until they have a solid amount of figures in their warehouses so they can coordinate with Hot Toys to announce the figure. So by the time it's announced, you can start getting your invoices and start paying for it. I mean, they do the reviews before anyone, so they get the figures. But that's another thing. So
yes, but in the case of this Batman, the DX19, Doc Smizzle, I think was he that was telling me that there is a container with a batch of the DX19 already in the US port. So I think that Batman probably will ship very soon from Sideshow, and I think this is a best way. It's the best way for them to try to get back the market,
right,
to control a bit the market.
So
because the delays are
right. But let me put this question back to you on the panel. So this, if you compare this Batman with the Mark 85 Battle Damage, right? You see that this is probably going to ship faster because the quantity in pre-orders is way lower than the Mark 85 Battle Damage. And that's a fact, right? So that's they usually do that for figures that are not, they didn't have high demand. Like, look what happened with Spider-Gwen. Look what happened with the Death Watch. Look what happened with Miles Morales, for example, right? Now, look what happened with Ahsoka. Look what's happening with this guy, Mark 85, Battle Damage. It's been delayed and delayed and delayed because the orders were bigger. So, again, this is something they need to figure it out,
And something that sometimes resellers and retailers, they saw the Avengers line as it was a huge line. Everyone wanted like the Avengers, and maybe they invest too much on buying a lot of stock to sell, and by the time this stuff goes out, now the Avengers is gone, the people don't want to collect, or maybe the situation, the world as it is now, maybe there's not, they cannot afford, and so you can see prices like these. And what makes intriguing is, how can a retailer sell at this price? Probably they are losing money at the selling at this price. They are, or maybe they are just selling at a cost.
Right. Well, if
to
they
maintain
bought,
to maintain a float.
right, if they bought 10 figures, for example, just to throw a number, 10 figures, and they sold 5 for like $100, $150 more, they can easily sell the rest lower. They're still gonna get their money.
That was my point before. That was my point before. That the first, with the money they get, the profit they have in the first batch is enough to cover them, than to sell at cost in the second batch, and if they still have a lot of stock in hands in the later time. I know you need to get to leave, right? Then you have something to handle just now. You told me.
Yes, I have to leave, but I want to say thank you for the invite. Nice to see everyone here on the panel.
Man,
thank you guys.
Always nice to have you.
You know, on the chat. Yeah, man, my pleasure. My pleasure.
You are always welcome, and have a good evening yourself.
Yes.
Hold my balls.
Thank you guys.
Hold my balls.
Hold
my balls. What's up, guys? Yeah, it's a complicated stuff. Even the 2-pack, the boba here is already going down, and I predict this probably will keep going down. And this was a set that for me, yeah.
Yeah, I want to say though, brother, that even it's just currently from what's been shared with me, those first day batches are not as big and generous as they were, say, a year or even back in 2020 when everybody had disposable income. It's been shared with me that the folks they send out to pre-order, it is a smaller crowd. Yes, there is still a small minority of collectors that must have that day one pre-order batch, but it's not like what it was. Even last year, what is it, even like that? So everything is rapidly changing, because I'm sure that they are all aware of it. I'm talking like KG Hobby, TW, Line Rock Toys. They're all have to adapt, because the world, at least here in the U.S., with the whole situation with hyperinflation, the possibility of slipping into recession, that type of disposable income that existed from the stimulus money a couple of years ago, it's not there now, and it's time to kind of batten down the hatches. So collectors are just making a little bit more conservative purchases. So this is just, I still feel like we're still in the beginning, and it's going to trickle on throughout the whole year. You're going to see the figures piling up, and we're coming where we are in the middle of April. The delays are still slow. They announced this, great, Hot Toys, but you need to kind of pick it up, because if we get to May and you only release one more other figure, it's doing is just creating that throttling effect of backing up. And as we get closer to the end of the year, what if more life happens to collectors? Meaning, at the end of the year we fall into recession, money becomes tighter, the US dollar becomes weaker. It's going to get worse. And it's not just Marvel, because I know we saw the first signs with the Marvel IP. It's all connected. It's going to be Marvel. It's going to be the one-offs, and then it'll spill on over to the other companies. It could possibly even affect Queen Studios. It could even possibly affect X06, because they're all expensive 1/6 scale figures, and collectors manage their collection accordingly to what they like, or what they can afford.
Yeah, that's a good point. Who has a dog?
I do. That's my Figo in the background. I'll mute it if it gets loud.
But he's fine, right? No problem. Let him raise his voice. No problem. Yeah, but it's a market. At least here in China, it's really a problem. I'm seeing it's strange because the people are changing from hot toys and they are going into statues because they think the statues hold the value longer. Hot toys no longer hold the value.
I've been there.
And
it's okay.
So what do you think about this, Desi? Do you think statues really hold the value as?
I mean, look at the statues now, even the numbered ones. So you can even get some of the more costly ones, I believe, for pretty much close to retail, and they're sticking around for a long time. And that's because when I started collecting statues in the 2000s, you know, the edition numbers were much lower. Now they're a lot. By much lower, I mean, you know, 300, 400 pieces. You know, a huge number was 500. Now a typical edition number from Sideshow or Prime One or XM is in the thousands. Way into the thousands. So it sticks around for a while. Does it hold its value more? Yes, but the value doesn't go up as quickly as it used to. It's much harder to sell. It's a pain. So I see it going the same route really as Hot Toys as far as being watered down pretty soon. So I worry about that. All in all, I'm just hoping that Hot Toys is learning from this. I hope. And balances stuff out. I hope they have the opportunity to do that. We'll see.
Yeah, but it's interesting because, and you see companies, for example, like J&D, they like very much to marketing their statues and do that. Pre-orders sold out in seconds or 2 minutes or 12 minutes or 10 minutes.
Sure.
And they do a big thing of that. And even their Arthur flag, that was their first statue, that was limited to 350 pieces. That was the quantity. Now you can get it here lower than the official price.
Exactly what I'm saying.
That statue didn't went as they predicted.
They're still sticking around, and yes, they sell out immediately to the distributors and to the resellers. Because they're the ones that are ordering directly from J&D or whoever, and then it sells out. Okay, cool. They say it's sold out. Maybe they're being truthful. But the point is, it's going to the resellers, and now, as you're saying, it's sticking around. Even what was it, 350 pieces?
Yeah, 350. So, yeah.
Like, I see it going down the same route. It's a high-end collectible industry.
Same thing happened with the Heath Ledger Joker.
Yeah,
that was just released, and now you can get it without any problem, without any pre-order. You can buy it at stock, even with free shipping at stock price, without any problem. Danobi, I don't know if you are much into statues, and do you see them as a value higher than any 1/6 scale at this moment?
Well, you can't really compare the world of statue collecting to 1/6 scale. I've always seen YouTube streamers try to do that, and it's not the same. It's kind of like comparing 1/6 scale Hot Toys to collecting Legos. It's a different genre of toy collecting. Statues, for the most part, hold their value. They're limited, and they'll usually increase in value a little bit slower. But it's also a challenge to unload them if something ever happens, like an emergency or anything like that. I've always had issues where a few years ago I needed to unload a couple of statues, and one of them just arrives broken. Statues always arrives broken through eBay, and it's one of those situations that's not very pleasant. And then even if you do manage to get that statue piece to the collector in perfect form, they usually will find something wrong with it, the paint chip or something, or something's off, or the color. It's always a little bit more challenging. If you like statue collecting, great, but I would never compare statue collecting to 1/6 scale Hot Toys. 1/6 scale figures from Hot Toys yeah, I mean, it's depreciating value because the market is saturated. But you also see you also see this type of trend in other form factors of toy collecting, action figures, Marvel Legends, Black Series, and so forth. The reason why it's a little bit shocking for most of us is because for a very long time, we never had to deal with this. This is all very brand new. This is very, for years, it was always cool. I can get what I want. And then if I'm bored with it, or if there's an emergency, I can sell it on eBay and either break even or just make a little bit of a profit. But now when you're trending 130 plus pre-orders, yeah, if you're going to make that purchase, you need to make sure that you don't need to sell it down the road for any type of emergency situation, because if you do, you'll be taking a huge hit on it. So that's where that concern. And then a lot of new toy collectors, year one hot toy collectors jumped in 2020 with the stimulus money, kind of which reminded me a lot of the comic book boom in the late 90s or the mid 90s, where we're buying a comic book at that point in time was seen as a worthy investment. And I think a lot of collectors saw buying hot toys as a worthy investment, considering that they were jaded already with the mismanagement of the field that they were collecting from. Marvel Legends, NECA's the worst, I think, and Black Series, which always keeps reissuing. You're like, well, hell, I spent all day on a toy hunt looking for all these Black Series, and then 6 months later they're reissued, and you're like, what the hell? That's not fun. It's not about reselling. It's just about going for the hunt, the chase, having that unique prize piece. But that's why I think hot toys was so attractive to a lot of collectors in 2020. And it's changing. They're like, hey, you guys I was listening to told me this would be paradise and everything. And all I heard was grail. And I'm like, all I see is discount. What gives? So now everybody's like, well, we were speculating. Well, we didn't know that. We were new to the industry. We were new to the genre. All we heard was that this Ahsoka was going to sell out. That's all we heard. This is my first time year collecting. It's all about a point of view. You got to look at things from a point of view. When I first did the numbers over a year ago, I was like, this shit isn't adding up. Something here doesn't look right. And something here, and then currently in April, the stuff still doesn't look right.
That's great. There were many figures that were claimed as grails, and you got IG-11,
yeah, IG-11,
Captain Rex.
Yeah,
I think it's there were some figures that at some point people considered it will be absolutely grails, and at this moment I think there are no grails anymore.
There's 2-pack right here.
The world
People, this 2-pack right here, people were thinking it's gonna be a grail.
Rex was a huge one. Because we were just coming off the Cody selling off in 2 to 3 months, and that was in early 2021. And then early 2021, we also had Mando sell out. So it looked like Rex might be able to sell out.
Yeah.
It looks like Hot Toys might correct the ship. All that Marvel stuff is sitting there, but they may correct the ship. And now we're in April of 2022, and it's like, nope. It's not corrected.
Rex was the best out of the three too.
You know that, Desi. I did the circuit run in last year during July, and all I got was oppositions and disagreements. Well, Denobi, it's Star Wars. Everybody loves Star Wars. All I heard from several cats were like, everybody loves Clone Wars. I'm like, not everybody watches the Toontown cartoons. I keep telling that. And then the panels that I was in arguing that, half of the panel had never even seen the Clone Wars. They're like, well, I need to get to it. I'm like, well, then why are you advocating for Ahsoka? And you're like, you haven't seen it since season 1 over a decade ago. I'm not going to mention any names. You guys know who you are.
That's Joel's rule.
What's my rule?
You got to watch it in order to collect it.
My rule,
Right?
yes. My rule was you need to watch the series or the movie before you buy the figure. If you haven't watched, you have to have some knowledge. So the store where you buy will give you a 20 questions quiz about that movie or the TV show. And if you get them all right, then you are able to pre-order.
So I had so many people tell me like,
Was just joking.
No, it was good.
I'm trying to sit through Clone Wars and I can't make it through, but I'm gonna do it. And I just kept saying like, maybe you just don't like it, man. It's cool. Like you don't have to like it. Like, look, if you want to give it a shot, what I kept telling people is go to Google, look up best episodes, 5 best episodes, watch those. If you like them, maybe give the rest a shot. If you don't, like, you have to force yourself through it. Anyways.
I know in Google there's a way to watch the Clone Wars in Google that they give you a way to watch them only to see the most iconic episodes, and maybe that's a way for some people to watch.
Bretta, there was one panel that had 6 people. That was at the end of January the 20th. I'm looking at my notes here. The 22nd.
How can you know this? End of January. I don't know what I have for dinner yesterday.
6. I'm not gonna embarrass anybody. I'm not. I feel like I've rocked the boat enough for the last 30 days. But there were 6 people on this panel, and not one of them had seen the Bad Batch. And you're like, and you folks you cats are advocating for the Bad Batch, but yet 1, 2, 3, 4 out of a 6 panel, no one had seen. Oh, I need to get to it. It's on my to-do list. And I'm like, then why do you like this new announcement? You see what I mean? It's just one of those like something's not adding up here. Just if you haven't seen the show, then it was weird. It was just really, really weird. But you're right, Desi. The Captain Rex was for a while, and then during the holidays, it was like the Ahsoka Nightmare Before Christmas, where everybody was just toting Ahsoka during the holidays, and people were selling tickets for her arrival around Thanksgiving, and
I personally thought Rex would sell out by the holidays. Nope, like nowhere near. I didn't think Ahsoka would even be here, but I thought Rex would definitely sell. No, not even close.
Yeah, Ahsoka's going to be the new 501st. She's going to stick her when that container that's sitting on the ocean finally unloads the 20,000 plus units.
Oh, that's going to be here for a while.
It's going to sit for a while.
I'll see Anthony selling that for a while.
Do you think it's possible that we will see the Mandalorian Ahsoka released while the Clone Wars still sitting in stock?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And then by the time the Rosario Dawson one finally gets unveiled, the Toontown version of Ahsoka is going to look like the poor cousin, because everyone's going to want the live action version, the deluxe DX version, right? So
they're just going to sit, and I just keep going back to maybe May last year, when I was like, no, they must have learned their lesson. They know that Infinity War Thanos was way too much. Yeah. They know that Infinity War Cap was way too much. They're not going to do the same thing again.
That's just bonkers again.
And they did.
And this was during 2019, and I'm like, why are we doing another Thanos? I just don't get that. Like, it's just, I just know. We will have enough Thanos till the end of Infinity.
Yeah, Thanos was really overproduced. Both of them, the battle damage and the other one.
Made way
because no. Thanos there were 3. There was the Infinity War and 2 from the end game.
That's right.
The end game.
There was 3 of them. You're right. There was 3. That's right. Yeah, there was 3.
Thanos had the normal one and the battle damaged one.
And the battle damaged one. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah.
And they are all sitting, because they basically, and happened the same with the Hulk, the Endgame Hulk. They're friendly Hulk.
Oh yeah. A lot of people don't like that one.
Oh, the Smart Hulk. Yeah, that was a mess. That was a mess. And then the other threat we're facing too is when Kenobi is in Horizon, the show, and you're going to get some announcements there. So how do you navigate that? It's just going to keeps getting piled up, and it's tough decisions. it's tough, very, very, very tough decisions. Who was on the last stream for Dante, where everybody, it seems like everybody has kind of figured out what the whole Queen's like. Why was everybody advocating for Queen Studios? I'm like, I never understood that. They haven't produced anything, and I never understood why everybody just got on their knees for Queen's Studios. These companies all use exact same factories. In fact, that gentleman, John, even said they're using the same factories. So I don't understand why everybody would assume that the stuff is going to show up at the end of the holidays. I'm like, this stuff shows up at the end of the holidays. I will be very, very shocked and
very, very difficult.
Yeah. Because even
go ahead. Happening, right?
No,
Arch was saying here that there are 4 Thanos. Don't forget the one with the share. Which
Guardians of the Galaxy.
There are 4.
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The comic book version or something. Yeah.
It was from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I think.
No, you're right. That's right. That one there. Yep.
Yeah, but the Queen Studios, the Joker, I don't. Even John said that the Q4, it's their first batch. It's not. Start shipping in Q4 and ends in Q4. They say start shipping in Q4, which means they may release a first batch and will prolong until maybe second, third quarter of next year.
No, I'll believe. Actions speak louder than words. I'll believe it when I see it. And again, that's not just me picking on them. That's for all of them. That's Hot Toys. That's X06 because I love Star Trek. It's Queen Studios, Sideshow, because they do, even Sideshow has a couple of their crappy 1/6 figures on pre-order. They have the Toontown Kenobi and Anakin, right? Don't they have a couple of those on pre-order? Yeah.
Yep.
So they
too.
They too are. I mean, they're all using the exact same factory. So even Sideshow is going to get delayed on their stuff too.
They had that Soka with Maul also that went on pre-order. They are fighting.
Yeah.
The Nightmare Before Christmas, folks. The Nightmare Before. It'll be a fun Christmas this year, huh?
or maybe not. Or maybe you will not see anything until Christmas and then beginning next year or second quarter of next year, because I think the worst part is to come next year. If we don't see delays, because the second quarter next year you will be bombarded with stuff because you have there the Lorien Ecto 1, Green Goblin, Doc Ock,
that's right,
quarter scale Boba Fett. There are so many stuff for the second quarter and third quarter next year it's incredible. So that's why we are trying to check if Hot Toys now have so many to launch this year. They need to pick up or else you will see delays of 2 years more.
Damn,
it's incredible. But as I'm seeing the situation at this moment in China with the lockdowns happening again, I'm not seeing productions going as well as maybe they were expecting. I'm not seeing that. I'm in home again.
Yeah, it depends on the region. Production has restarted in several factories, but it's so localized there. Every city and every region, has different rules. So, yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yeah, but remember that they cannot. They also depend of suppliers. A factory depends of suppliers that need to deliver them materials or raw material or clothing material, plastic material, something like that. And I will not say that everything is closed, but I would guess maybe it's at maybe 40 to 50% running capacity at this moment, 40 to 60, let's say, something like that.
Yeah, and on top of that, it's not only that; it's just the shortages altogether. Exactly. Based on what you're saying, it's not only the closures, but it's you're not getting it because there were shortages, even if the factories were open.
But even when they do get it, the prices on it now.
Yeah,
yeah, and the prices too.
So, if any of you ever want to know what the bliss number is for pre-orders before the end of the world, before 2020. So my first red flag was when the pre-orders were breaking 30. 30 pieces, 30 to 40. And everybody was just like, oh, it's Hot Toys being productive and, calm down, Denobi, so forth. But before that, the average trend in number of pre-orders on Sideshow was between 10 and 20 because they were delivering them in under a year for the most part, 10 to 12 months. So they can make announcements, and then by the end of the year, that figure was released and shipped out. And it was the 30 plus that triggered. I'm like, when you put the stuff in a chart, I go, this is not normal. I've been buying Hot Toys at that point in time for about 8 years. I go, this doesn't make any sense. And it was because before that, it was only 10 to 20 on average, a small, comfortable number within a small window. And they were able to deliver. Very seldom you would actually have a figure that would go into a 1.5 to 2 years of delivery. It was on rare occasions like the Hulkbuster, right? The Hulkbuster. There was a few others and so forth. But now at 130, I'm not going to let anybody hold my. I'm not going to let anybody hold my non-refundable deposits for a couple of years so that they can reinvest. No, interest free. No, I can wait. I would rather, at this point in time, go back to the chase or dealing with the smaller batches than spending my time now. Who's selling this particular figure at a more affordable discounted bargain bin price? So
yeah, but then you got other problem. The last year, I think was November or October. That was 1 week that Hot Toys released 4 or 5 figures in a week time, in a 7 days time.
Yeah,
it was a bunch of them.
And it'll happen again several more times this year. And that's typically where collectors will be like, all right, I'm tapped out. Because they'll get because they'll get the notifications in 1 week and they're like, I'm never going to financially recover from this because they pre-ordered.
or they will cancel 1 or 2 or 3 and get only one because they cannot pay for all of them in 1 week.
Yep.
And then that will backfire because then that's when you see overstock happening.
That's when you get the dead stock coming in. Yep. And then you're asking yourself, why did I spend $800 on this 2-pack of Boba Fett from TW when in July they're offering free shipping and a coupon from Alibaba for $400.
I don't know how much was the 2-pack Bob on the first batch from Hong Kong, but I think was around almost $800, maybe $750, something like that.
It was like
it was really something like that
from that first batch because people needed to have it.
I know that's crazy.
Before Christmas, or they needed to have that Boba Fett under their Christmas tree, I guess.
And
it's true.
And Denobi, to that point too, one of the arguments that really irks me is when people say, "Well, who cares about all this? If you like it, just get it." And I just say, "Well, I've just been in this long enough to know that yes, I'm going to like it. It's not a matter of liking it or not. I'm going to collect what I like, but the price matters, and this market matters because if you want to stay in it for the long run, like at least I do, you got to pay attention to this stuff because if not, you will tap out.
You will tap out.
5 things hit the end the same month." So
and if there is a gap too, don't take that gap to pre-order more figures. Use that time to pay off the figures you have already, so you can be prepared for the figures you want to pre-order going forward.
Yeah.
Let me just address here Fat Man's Collecting Nightmare with the super chat. Thank you so much. People need to hit that like button. Great panel, great topics, great chat interactions. Thumbs up, people. Yeah, but it's true. It's a hard time for, I think, not only for Hot Toys, for all collecting in general. And as we are talking, we are not expecting this year to be much greater than what we have seen until now. And if that month happens, because there are so many stuff to come out and so many delays. In Dante's show, he was showing, I think it's 8 figures that were to release in March. You got that Wonder Woman, you got Miles Morales 2. You got, I think it's 2 figures from Miles. You got... there's a lot of them. I even don't remember. Grogu. There was a Grogu that Hot Toys.
The pack. I think it's the accessory pack. The Grogu accessory pack.
Grogu accessory pack. Exactly. There are many stuff, and then you will see. So we are going to start with the Kenobi show. and with so many Star Wars figures to be released, that will be delayed for sure, because you have a lot of stuff to come in Q2 and Q3 this year. But they will be delayed, because unless they will do the same as they did with the Batman, they start to push the Star Wars releasing and let these DC and Marvel figures stay in the back, like that Endgame Loki, that I think is the figure with long, until that is a long wait, more than 2 years, I think.
Yeah,
the
that's right.
Loki.
That 2012 Loki.
2012 Loki.
That's bonkers, man.
The Endgame Loki. And you got other one that is delayed. I think is the 4th anniversary. The Luke, Bespin Luke, the Luke.
And Clone Wars
speed
Anakin.
is
Yeah, Clone Wars Anakin got delayed too.
Clone Wars Anakin.
Yep.
And this is a great comment from Blackbird Tech. The thing is, many collectors are being influenced to buy day one. They want to keep up with the Jones.
Yep.
And it's true. This is quite accurate, and it's unfortunately it's what's been happening later. But I think people need to be conscious that, like Desi was saying, if you want to collect for the long run, you cannot fire like this. You need go slowly, take your time, pre-order if you need to, do your payment plans if you need to, receive the invoice from Sideshow, even if it's 2-3 months later. What's the difference? You will have it in your display. To have a figure 2 months earlier will not do any difference. And if it's only to show on Facebook that you got the figure earlier, it's like we have been saying over and over, no one cares. It's true, because in the end of the day, it's you that will look at your display every day in your room, and it's you that you will look at it, because the people don't care. It's true. And it's I mean, I see young collectors coming, and I see some that they are ready. For example, you see that KG collector, I like him because it seems he already learned how to start to collecting and how to manage his buying decisions. And I think it's a duty for older collectors like Desi, Denobi, to preach to the community and say, don't buy day one figures.
Desi Denobi.
Look, I will never judge. If you want to pay $100, $200, $300 over whatever MSRP is just to have it day one,
I don't judge. I just
like don't do it to brag about it.
That's cool. Like, just as long as you know what you're doing. But for everyone else, like, don't think that's normal. You don't have to do that. If you can, there's people doing that in every single hobby you can possibly think of. So just to have the toy, the car day one, that's cool. I will never judge that. But you got to know if you can swing that and keep doing that in the long run. That's all I say.
Exactly, because if you are going to buy day one figures, you cannot make this to all the figures, because in the end of the year you will have a huge amount of cash that you could save. It's the only thing I'm saying is be conscious of your buying decisions. And like Loco Lou is saying, with the state of the world today, I see a lot of people tapping out, even selling complete collections for retail. You have to wonder, will the 1/6 scale game change back or be like Funko Pops? I think it will stabilize after some time.
Yeah,
it's gonna. Yeah, it'll be a couple of years. I know with the whole cargo and that whole industry, I've seen videos, essays where insurance companies have paid so much in delays because a lot of those shipments were insured. There's always a small percentage that's allowed for the containers to actually fall into the ocean. That's actually common. It's factored in as an insurance. But the problem is because they've been out in the ocean rocking back and forth for so long, that frequency has changed and there's been more containers falling over. So that has been happening. So what I think and what I've seen through CNBC and in these financial channels is like this whole port situation of pulling up and unloading, taking 45 days, that has to go. Insurance companies are not going to deal with that. So that's when you'll see like the Jeff Bezos stepping in, and you'll see it'll be it'll be all robots. You know, how we can get the 1-day shipping from Amazon. That industry's technology will absolutely, because otherwise they will not get insured, and it's stagnating retailers, Walmart, Home Depots, all of that. They're like, yeah, we can't have this. So it'll change, but it's going to take some time. So there will be a point in time where when something gets released in Hong Kong through Hot Toys, there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to get it in our hands in under 30 days or less. So it's just going to take some time. It just sucks. Just sucks right now.
That's right. And we got some very good points here today, but I need to finish up for today. We are already in the 1 hour and 30 minutes mark. And I know it's late for you guys over there. For me, it's almost lunchtime. But it was a great pleasure to have all of you here. And Desi, do you have anything coming? Any new diorama coming? Any new tutorial coming?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing some wood textures. I'm doing a video on it right now. I'll probably drop Saturday or so once I finish editing it throughout the week. And that's just that video this weekend, and then probably some more next week. So that's it. Thank you for
remember everyone to subscribe to Desi Metamorphic Customs. Very nice tutorials for dioramas and so on.
I got a quick question for Desi.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Do you have a good ventilation system, or you just get like nice and high when you do that stuff?
The ladder. No, you have to have
the ladder.
I have a window in the workshop, plus I have an airbrush booth, plus I have the mask. Very important. So
let me just address here the chat. How much did Howard give you for wearing that shirt? Actually, this shirt doesn't say Hot Toys. I changed.
I thought that long
it's an N. This is not toys. I changed.
Oh, it is an N.
This is an N. Not toys.
Yeah.
Nice.
Our doesn't give me anything. This was photoshopped by me. Denobi, what's going on? You have more midnight runs coming?
I don't have, and I'm looking at the predictable schedule here. I don't see anything jumping out at me.
You had a show with Anthony for Star Trek, right?
We were supposed to do it yesterday, but he got held up with some work. So we'll probably do another Star Trek show. I like talking about Star Trek. Most people don't, but I love it. So most likely next week. And if anything good drops this week, I just don't see anything other than the Wonder Woman, right? Isn't Wonder Woman? I feel like she should be up next, up in the plate. The Wonder Woman 1984.
That was supposed for March.
Is she? Yeah, she's behind. Jango Fett and Luke Skywalker. Have those two been? Those two are. Oh yeah, they got pushed back. Yeah, see, this is stupid. Hot Toy sucks right now.
It's a good break. It's a good break for me. Lets me catch up on
other. No, there's never such a good thing as a good break from Hot Toys. It just means everything's gonna show up during Thanksgiving's Black Friday sale or something. We'll have like a spooktacular, and all those invoices will start to show up. I just don't get it. I don't understand how these companies are staying afloat. They have to be in the red. I can't be the only one thinking that. Like, I'm talking like Hot Toys and Sideshow. I just don't get it. I get the impression that there's some bad checks being written.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it.
P-Rock, what's going on your channel? And before, do you know what happened with Blitzway and the Voltron? There was some problem. I think it's the one you wanted.
Yeah, I'm probably have to pick it up from a shop over here.
Blitzway issued a statement. There was some quality problem with this batch they shipped. You need to go to Blitzway Facebook. They did a statement about that Voltron. You need to check that out. Maybe if you are getting it now, you will have some problems. Maybe Doc Smizzle is saying there was some quality control issues with that Voltron.
Oh, all right. So I'm just read that get off here.
You need to check. You had a review coming yesterday, right? I need to check it out today.
The DX19 Darth Maul.
You like him?
Figure. Yeah, I like him. I wish I had the one with the speeder with the bike, but I'm happy with this one because currently I can't display the bike anyway. So I'm good with it so far. Yeah, so I got the review for him, and then I got some more reviews coming up soon, and I'm still working on editing some short videos, some short clips I'm gonna have for my channel too. So that's gonna be coming up also.
Amazing. Yeah, but Don Prime is saying Voltron is all messed up. Maybe it's
No,
the
it's
paint,
not. Don't
some
tell me
paint
that.
issue. It's true. It's true. I
They
saw this
announced it.
on.
I
You
believe
need to.
that.
You need to check on Blitzway Facebook. They did. They did the announcement. The Bugman is saying the Nobby. I missed that cherry where that sounded like a diving board.
The what? Did I miss that shit?
The
You had
sh-
that-
a
Oh.
Well, hopefully the batch I get is an improved batch. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to read
A
this.
P-Rock
Man, you guys got
batch.
me nervous now, man. You guys got me nervous.
I thought you knew about this because Blitzway did a statement about this. You saw it, Desi, right?
Yeah, it was a long statement. I read like half of it, and I was like, okay, that's I'm not getting Voltron.
No.
So
You read the Korean one or the English one?
definitely the English one. Hey, look, if it's really a QC issue, hey, you might look out and get a good one. But
that's what I'm saying. Hopefully they fix it by the time, because I end up canceling the one I'm supposed to get. They're gonna send by sea, so it's gonna take like 40, 50 days to get here. So I was like, screw that. So I canceled it. So I would have been getting the first batch. So thank God I canceled it then.
They're gonna have it on display at Star Wars Celebration. Bluefin brand / Blitzway. Well, they're under a new brand now. They're going to be at Star Wars Celebration. They're going to have their whole Bluefin brand lineup there. But it's not Bluefin brand anymore. It's Bluefin Bandai or something. They rechanged.
Yeah. Where's that at again?
Celebration.
Yeah. No, where at what state?
Anaheim, California.
Oh,
California.
Yeah. No way.
They usually have a huge booth in Celebration.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to wait for Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con.
Yeah.
You mean Blitzway?
Well, Blitzway is distributed by Bandai Bluefin, but there will be Blitzway products at Celebration. From what?
So no chance to see the Ecto one, right? There's no chance.
No, I pestered him a little while ago. He says it will not be there though, and that you guys know the pre-orders are gonna have actually ended already.
I think ended on the
for the Ecto one.
The Ecto
year
one
already ended
life on their actual site.
They mean like every site.
Well, I need to verify that. I want to say the pre-orders have closed already, and then they're going to start to trickle off and close through the outside retailers like Big Bad Toy Store, because Big Bad Toy Stores they can pre-order more above than what they got. Same thing for Spec Fiction, and then there's a couple other comic book shops there. So that's a red alert, I want to say. Yeah.
If you want the Ecto one, get it.
If you want the Ecto one Afterlife, yeah. I'm very cautious about using the word grail, but I'm pretty positive that Ecto one Afterlife is going to be one. I think it's a small run. I'm even speculating. This is me. I'm don't have any insider. I talked to the gentleman, but I feel that this is going to be a smaller run than the original Ecto one. I really do, just because of the state of the world. I just get and that price tag. It's $2K. I mean, that's a lot. So.
Yeah.
And that's all we got for today. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Peace, people.